With the enormous success of the movie and comic book LEGO games, the creators decided to branch off and create their own LEGO-based world, this time taking the best parts of their own LEGO series and the gameplay of another great series, Grand Theft Auto, with its open worlds and its freedom to explore gameplay. If you've never played a LEGO game before, this game is played like a platformer, but it's really more of a puzzle-based game. Most of the action has you solving area-based puzzles and fighting off enemies. The story stars Chase McCain, a detective who was previously run out of town. He has to come back to find and capture Rex Fury, who has just escaped from prison. As you're going through the game, you have to play as different personas, as not just a cop, but also a bad guy, a miner, and many others. At times it feels like just rapid-fire jokes, and it can be really funny. Now, graphically the title looks great. I have to assume this is what a next-gen LEGO game looks like normally, as I've only played the Wii versions in the past. There were a few times where things would just pop up, and occasionally there were frame rate glitches, but those were such minor problems. The open world approach that Grand Theft Auto brings is perfectly married to this game. I love the sense of freedom to explore the somewhat big, LEGOized world that they have created. There are plenty of places that even if you looked there, you'd have to have the right ability to actually explore the certain area. So there's plenty of replayability to come back and find something new. Now the game controls all right. Just like all LEGO games, the jumping controls were very loose. You will occasionally overjump a landing, but since you can't die and you just respawn back where you were, it's not really that big of a deal. You would get new abilities as you went through the game, like being able to use grappling guns to get to high points and able to use dynamite on rocks. One of my favorite abilities was finding hidden tracks to follow. It felt like a lot of fun just following up on these clues, finding out where they would lead. That was really fun gameplay. In fact, I loved it the first time that I played it in My Sims Agents. I guess they're not just borrowing gameplay from Grand Theft Auto. The gamepad controller was used as a map most of the time. Plus it gave us a few video chats from headquarters to keep the story flowing. Plus it could also be used to scan the area, much like the way that Batman Arkham City does. Okay guys, how many gameplay things are you going to take from other games? I really didn't like the scanning feature. I thought it was too cluttered and I really didn't use it most of the time. One of the new additions to this LEGO series is the ability to drive a car all over the map. In fact, there are cars, motorcycles, and trucks for you to drive. And the controls in them were a bit loose. You would often crash into things. But funny enough, it really didn't damage your car most of the time at all. So have at it. Crash as much as you want. It really didn't matter. In fact, the game actually encourages it because you can collect blocks from the destruction that you cause. And if you collect enough blocks, you can make new structures out of those blocks. There is a ton of replayability in this title. Not just collecting all the cars and all the people in the game, but there are also a lot of hidden secrets to find and many other little things if you ever just search the town and previous missions. Now there are a couple negatives I have about the game. First, the game is only a single player game, which is very odd. All the other LEGO games for this company are multiplayer, but this one doesn't have it. But I guess it'd be a little bit too awkward to have two people jacking someone's car. Also, the loading times were atrocious. Now, I had heard from people that this game had bad loading times, so I bought the game directly off the eShop just so it wouldn't have to access the disc. So I thought maybe that would cut down on the loading times. But they're just as bad as I heard. There would be times where it would last at least a minute, and then sometimes it would be one right after another. But I don't want you to think that it loads all the time, because it doesn't. It tends to load entire levels and maps. So most of the time you're not going to see loading screens, but when you do, it's really slow. Those only tend to come up when you get to destinations or cutscenes come up. LEGO City Undercover is fantastic. It's a fun game with lots of amusing moments for you to enjoy. The sense of freedom and creativity is outstanding. Now the loading times and the lack of multiplayer was a little bit annoying, but really it's a bit of a minor complaint. This is a great game and a must-buy for the Wii U.